On our first stress video, we laid out a foundation for you on the effects of chronic stress, right? So an acute stress event, you step oddly over a curb, almost trip and fall, but you don't. Your heart flutters a little bit and your respiration goes up and so forth, but 5 minutes later you forget it ever happens, right? That's acute stress, body responds, you're good to go. The chronic stress is that slow drip, drip, drip of stress, of things that are nagging at us, tugging at us, pulling at us, these ruminating thoughts about things that have happened 30, 40 years ago, and I'm not pointing fingers. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we laid out on the foundational one, how it affects all parts of our physiology. And I start off stress presentations that I do by asking a simple question. Can people think themselves sick? And everybody answers yes. Can people think themselves well? And just about everybody says yes. So then all we have is these invisible electrical forces in our frontal lobe that can cause physical ailments around the body, right? So it would behoove us to understand this and then take control of our thoughts and steer that in a direction that's going to benefit our lives and the people around us, as opposed to tear us down unnecessarily. The object here is not to remove all stress of your life. No, no, no. Our object here is to relate to the circumstances that are in front of us, presented to us, or most frequently, relate to our past things in a better fashion so we can create a better lives for ourselves, right? Okay. So 3 things that we're going to talk about here today. The first one is a commitment. To implement stress reduction strategies, number 1 is make a commitment to yourself. Do a personal inventory. Think about areas in your life that you might not be showing up in the best version of yourself. It might be in a relationship. It might be for your family. Maybe it's for your parents, or if you're somebody younger, maybe it's for your parents, or in school, or at the workplace, or with neighbors, or whatever it might be. Take a personal inventory and then ask yourself a question. Am I showing up as the best version of myself for all of these activities that I'm into, all of these personal interactions that I'm having? Am I that person that I want to be, that I need to be, that I know I can be? This is a question that I've asked myself many, many times. And if the answer is no, it's no. Just be honest. Be honest with the personal inventory and take account to where these areas you might not be showing up. Okay? If there's something in there you said, you know, I could show up here better, or this thing I have to visit tomorrow, I have to approach a child that has this issue, and I know it's going to be an issue, and there we go, it's just going to run into the same problems again. Well, maybe we need to show up in a different way to try to get a different result, right? So that's what we're looking at here. Dr. Joe Dispenza, please, by all means, if you want to dive deeper into this, and I'm going to talk about this in a few minutes, meditation, and he's an absolute genius when it comes to this and teaching people meditative techniques. He also prefaces that with a lot of build-up information like I'm doing for you right now. And he talks about, look, by the time we're 35, we're going to have all these habits that were basically established from all of our past things that have gone on. So if we get up out of bed with the same attitude and we drag ourselves out, or maybe we hit the snooze alarm a few times and then we get up out of bed the same way and we have the same humdrum approach to the day, right? And then we get over and we take a shower the same way and brush our teeth the same way, and then we have the same cup of coffee in the same cup, sitting in the same chair, and the same cereal, and listen to the same fearful, terrible news, and then we drive to work, and then we battle our way to work, and we're stressed out when we go to there, and then we go to this job that's seemingly unfulfilling, and then we don't do fulfilling things at work, and we're not giving ourselves 100% in work, and then we go home, and then we have interactions with our family that aren't sparkling and spectacular. So if we're running the same pattern as Joe Dispenza says, he says, how can we expect to change? It's just not going to change on its own. And that's what I mean about making the commitment. I want to show up differently. I'm going to make a change in my life. I'm going to make a change in myself. If I want to see changes in my environment, I'm going to be the change agent. I'm going to change first. So if I show up to something as the best version of myself, whatever it might be, the family and the work and loved ones, relationship, whatever it might be, if I'm showing up as the best version of myself, a better chance of a better outcome is going to come in, right? So that's the goal here. You're doing the best to bring your version in, so you can at least say, hey, I gave it my best. I didn't go in humdrum. I actually showed up and did the best work that I could. My sensei, my martial arts sensei, said this. Catch this term. You know it very well. Practice makes, fill in the word, practice makes, well, you think you're going to say perfect. Practice makes perfect. No. Practice makes patterns. Practice makes patterns. So we all tend to be in a pattern, just like I laid out for you in the way that we get up and run through our day and so forth, asking ourselves the same questions and so forth. If we don't change anything, we're in this pattern, we're stuck in this rut, we're just doing the same thing. We have these same feelings and behaviors because we're running the same patterns. So it makes sense that if we're going to change the way that we are, if we're going to change our feelings and we're going to change our behavior, and we're going to change our attitude, then we're going to have to go in by changing our patterns. And that's what the implementation is here. So number 2, here's the second thing that we do in implementation. Start small. Start something small. You're probably not going to meditate every day for 10 years on a mountaintop. Okay? If you do, great. Please, write a book afterwards and do shows and let's hear about it. Probably not though. Okay? So what you want to do is start small and see if you can start to change these behaviors slightly. Okay? So as Tony Robbins tells us, we want to change how we feel. How do we change how we feel? There's 2 ways to do that. We want to change our focus, and if we change what we're focusing on, we're going to change how we feel in our behavior. Does that make sense? So an example that Tony Robbins uses is this. Let's say you go to a party, right? And on the inside of the house at this party, there's people that are arguing intensely, right? And it might be a political discussion or some hot topic, and these people are committed to their point, and these people are committed to their point, right? And so they're going back and forth, and you're like, wow, one person's interpretation of that party, wow, those people were really upset, that was really intense, right? Or if you go to the outside of the party, you see that there's a pool, and there's kids playing in the pool, and they're having a fun time, and there's lawn games going on over here, and there's a lot of people having fun over there, and there's a cookout and whatever else is going on. Then somebody might think, wow, everybody had a really good time. That was a lot of fun. So the point is we can change our focus. It was one party, but you focused on this over here, you got one result. You focus on this over here, there you go. Tony Robbins talks about a very creative way of doing that is ask better questions. Ask better questions. Instead of getting up in the morning and say, why do I have to get up at this hour? Or how terrible is that meeting going to be today? Your supercomputer here, and I've talked about this in many other shows, your supercomputer is going to say, oh, of course it's going to be terrible because look at this history that you have. All these other meetings were terrible. You didn't show up this way and you messed up and you weren't prepared and so on and so forth. Asking better questions. How can I show up to this event as the best version of myself? What have I missed about this situation that's actually great that I haven't noticed yet? And on and on and on it goes. So there's just a couple of little simple things. Please go to Tony Robbins' information and he'll talk about how to change focus. You can find videos and blogs that he's done on this and changing your focus. The other way that he talks about is changing your physiology. So changing your physiology. If you're in a rut right now and you're doing your thing and you realize, I'm really not getting my mood change, I'm not getting my feelings change, I'm not getting my behaviors to change, and I'm feeling the same way every day. Maybe you just need some physical exercise. Maybe you need to move your body. Tony Robbins talks about power moves and deep breathing and all that kind of stuff. I'll get into that in a moment. But he also says maybe you're the type of person, and all these other motivational people are out there, maybe it's time where your sneakers are right there at your bed, and you put your sneakers, you get changed, you put your sneakers on, and you go out for a walk, or you hit your treadmill at home, or your bike, or whatever it is. You do it first thing, maybe a glass of water first, and then you do it first thing. Even if it's a 5, 10, 15-minute thing, it just starts to break that pattern, right? Because practice makes patterns. So you start breaking that pattern and you start working that physiology. And if you start a little bit of a workout, maybe you're listening to some additional videos of mine or a blog post or whatever it is, an audio book that's supportive for you. And you do these things that starts changing your state. So you're starting to feed in good things. You're changing your electrical physiology. You're changing the information going from your physical body into your brain, releasing chemicals that are going to make you feel better. And then you're starting to dump in information that's going to help you be seeding good things and good behaviors and good patterns moving forward. Maybe that's a way that you need to shake things up a little bit. And that's one of Tony Robbins' suggestions and others that are saying, exercise first thing. If you can do it. I know some of you can't. You're a super early riser to get to work. You can't do it at that point. Or you have to get the kids prepared. Got that, Maybe it's you have to back up that time that you go to bed. You don't binge watch whatever series that you're going to watch. You knock that hour out and you go to bed earlier and you get up earlier and you get that workout for yourself in. Because remember, this is about yourself. This is being selfish. You're taking care of yourself so you can show up better for everybody else in your life. So changing that morning routine. Here's a morning routine activity that I do when I'm starting to get ready. And this I learned over 30 years ago from Earl Nightingale. And Earl Nightingale has some great programs. They're decades old now, but they're still fantastic. Go to nightingale.com and you can check out his information. Plus he has 50, 60, 70 other authors, and they have downloadable programs and books and all kinds of stuff there, nightingale.com. So he taught this: start your day, pre-frame your day, set your day with 3 words. And I have them on my mirror, and you can do this if you want to. Attitude, gratitude, and expectant. So you run through those words. You take 20 seconds, half a minute each. Attitude, a happy, cheerful, expectant attitude every day with everything that I do, with myself and my own thoughts and everybody that I interact with. A happy, cheerful, expectant attitude. Done. That's exactly what Earl Nightingale said. Happy, cheerful, expectant attitude. Okay? When you show up with a better attitude, better results. Okay? Gratitude. Everybody knows gratitude. Have gratitude for all the things that are going right in your life, right? That you live in the richest, freest country ever to be known in mankind's history. That you've done great things in the past and you have great things moving forward. That you have a job, that you are supporting your family, have a great family, have great friends, your employment that you really like, or you're shifting gears and you're moving in a different direction, but you're grateful that you have the ability and freedom to shift your life in a different direction with relationship, with family, with work, with career, with hobbies, whatever it is. You're taking a different direction with getting your physical body back in shape. The gratitude list can just go on and on and on. I just heard this again from one of Joe Dispenza's workshops today about gratitude. Gratitude's emotional signature means that it has already happened. So what he's talking about is creating a new you with new patterns and looking forward to a new future by staying in the now, working on ourselves in the now, and having a future that's going to come together for you, right? But having gratitude for it now in anticipation of the future, meaning that it's already happened. That's gratitude's emotional signature. That's pretty cool. Attitude, gratitude, and the last word by Earl Nightingale was expectant. Expectant. I expect the best. I expect the best from myself. I expect the best today. I expect to live in a beautiful state. I expect to give my very best today. Just today, I'm going to give my very best. I expect to give my best to my family this morning, my kids this morning, my spouse this morning. I'm going to give the best to the people on the roads on my commute. I'm going to give my best in the meeting. I'm going to give my best in my workout. I'm going to give my best to myself. I expect the best from my own thoughts. Whatever it might be, I expect the best today. I expect to be 1% better today. Whatever it is, you can just go through that exercise. So that's one way of starting small. Maybe you just start with those 3 words and go about your day and see what happens. But stay consistent, right? Here's another one. So another thing that takes very little time is some deep breathing exercises. And I was just reviewing this, Dr. Andrew Huberman. You need to check out his stuff for sure. If you put into YouTube, Andrew Huberman breathing technique, it will come up. And one of the first hits might be a podcast that he did with Tim Ferriss. That could come up. Or if you wanted to, you could also put in Andrew Huberman physiological sigh. A sigh. A sigh. Okay, either way it's going to get you there. Okay, so he has like a 2-minute explanation on the physiological sigh. Here it is. Everybody knows with deep breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Well, he says it's going to be a process like this. You inhale through your nose, you're going to do a secondary extra inhale through the nose, and then slowly out the mouth. So it's going to look like this. It looks like this. Okay, so you caught that, right? So it's a big inhale, but you can always go for a little bit more. I won't get into the physiology why I make this show too long, but and then slowly on the way out. And you do just 1 to 3 of those. That's it. One of the fastest ways to reduce stress in the brain that they were talking about. I talked about Dr. Andrew Weil. So you can just put in YouTube, Weil breathing 4-7-8. In through the nose, count of 4, hold for 7, out through the mouth, count of 8. The key point with that is the out breath is twice the in breath. Okay, 2 to 1. 2 to 1, out to in. Okay. Another one is Wim Hof. You can look up Wim Hof, a little more detailed, a little more time. And by the way, do not do deep breathing exercises when you're driving. Very good. Okay, don't do that. Okay. Then the next thing on implementation when you're starting small, if you want to go to the next step and you've meditated in the past but you need some additional guidance, if you've never meditated before and you say, I'm a terrible meditator, there is no terrible meditation, there's just meditation. So just go get started, and it doesn't matter how good or whatever you are, it doesn't matter, meditation is meditation, it's going to benefit you. Joe Dispenza is one of my favorites. You can look at some of his stuff on his webpage. You can go to his YouTube page and get some meditations there. There are many, many other meditations you might find. You just like music, you like silent, you like guided by voice. Experiment, see what you like. Plenty of apps on your phones right now where you can do meditation apps and so forth. Just dig in. I'm worth it. You're going to tell yourself, I'm worth it to go to bed 20 minutes earlier, wake up 20 minutes earlier and do a meditation, or go to bed 20 minutes earlier, wake up 20 minutes earlier and work out. Whatever that's going to look like. Maybe if your lunch break is enough and you're in an office and there's an empty room, that's when you do your meditation. If you don't have time at home because you're handling family things, whatever it is, work it out. And the last thing, of course, I talked about this is the physical activity in the morning, right? So you just get up and you just start right in. It's going to change your physiology. It's going to change your focus. It's going to release those chemicals that make your brain work better and feel good. Okay, so that's ways to start small and get the ball rolling. By the way, here's another meditation one that you might try. This one's about 15 minutes. Tony Robbins. Go to YouTube, put in Tony Robbins priming. Priming means it's a priming meditation for the day. It's a little bit different than the standard meditation stuff, but if you like that energy, give it a try. Completely free, put it on, see what you think. It takes about 15 minutes, okay? So those are some examples of starting small. Changing the old patterns that we just continue to run like a broken record. We just continue to run. We wonder why our life is the same. Our results are the same, though I feel the same. Nothing has changed. My behavior is the same. All that kind of stuff. Is making changes but staying consistent with it. And that's the last point. This is number 3, is follow through. How are you going to follow through? Raising my hand. I'm not pointing fingers. Raising my hand. How do we follow through on these things? In my chiropractic office, is like, how do I get people to follow through with their spinal stretches that take 2 minutes in the morning and night? Same kind of thing. So you know you, and you know that if you have something to do tomorrow that you can't forget, I have to take out the trash, I have to call this person, I have a meeting at 9 o'clock, I have to take the kids over here after school, whatever it might be, right? There's a way that you remember how to do that. So you could be old school like me, grab a piece of paper, write the word exercise, or write the word meditate, or whatever, just one big word, and you put this in the spot that you can't ignore it. If you get a cup of coffee or a glass of water first, you put it right on the kitchen counter. If it's the bureau, you put it on the bureau. If it's the bathroom mirror, you put it in the center of the bathroom mirror, so you have to move it every time, right? Piece of paper works. Do the same thing in the evening if you're going to do something in the evening. A phone reminder, right? So you have an alert on your phone if that's something that if you're phone-centric, and you can put an alert on your phone. Just have something on there that reminds you at 7 a.m. or something, whatever the timing that is to make sure that you do that. It's stretch, it's meditate, it's exercise, it's whatever it is. Listen to this video, and so forth, okay? Could be a calendar reminder. Maybe you're a person that has an online calendar or even a paper calendar, and just put in there 6 a.m., 6 a.m., 6 a.m., 6 a.m., right through the next month, year, whatever. If it's an electronic calendar, you can set up a daily reminder, boom, and it's there, and every time it's 6, or you have lunch at 1 o'clock, I'm going to go meditate for 20 minutes at 1 o'clock. I'm going to go exercise at 1:30. every day, and it's almost like a meeting that you are going to show up for and you're always going to do. That's the follow through. So make sure you have something that makes it consistent to make these changes. If you have somebody that you're in a relationship with, or somebody at home, or whatever it is, you're going to have a buddy. It could be your spouse, a child, a relationship person, parent, whatever it is. And you have somebody that's really into this as well, then you can be the buddy system, right? And that can be another way of encouraging each other to make these changes and go forward. That is implementation, stress reduction, implementation. I'm Dr. Scott Fuller. Please join me again.